Hi, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for the GC Children's Conference. I'm Monica Shrestha from Q Design, and I'm accompanied by my colleague, Kavya Rizal. We will be your technical facilitators today. Please note that the session today is recorded. We also have interpretation in Armenian, Hindi, Nepali, and Arabic today. To turn on interpretation, please click on the globe icon at the bottom of your Zoom window and select language of choice. To ensure that the interpretation is effective, when you're speaking, please make sure to speak slowly. If you have any questions about Zoom or require technical assistance, please feel free to raise your hand or drop a message into the chat box. I will now hand over to Reina. Reina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Monica, for that quick introduction to the technical aspects of things. Thank you very much for that. My name, as Monica said, is Reina Marilode, and I'm the Children's Rights Project Manager at the Global Campus of Human Rights. And I've been here very much from the start of this process, working with the children here today. We started in September, and it's been a hugely inspiring 6 months, and I feel extremely honored to have been working with so many dedicated individuals, especially, of course, the 111 children across 9 countries we have engaged in this process. I wish you all a wonderful conference over the next few days. Our child protection and safeguarding focal point for the day is Shagana Kanwar from the NCRC in Nepal. And for obvious reasons, we could not, unfortunately, do the conference in person in Kathmandu as we originally intended. But we are all here now today with almost 400 individuals registered to join us across the 2 days. And obviously, due to the kind of technical difficulties in managing so many people, not everybody will have the opportunity to unmute themselves and speak. But we do have the option to comment on the side in the chat, but also we have a Padlet, which Monica will share in the chat, where you can join, add your thoughts, comment, and both now during the conference and also afterwards. So we really encourage you to use that. And we've done our best to translate as much as possible in the 8 languages that are represented during the conference today. But I don't want to speak much longer. It's all about what the children did over the last 6 months. So with no further ado, I would just like to ask Monica to start an introductory video for a few welcoming words from Manfred Novak, Veronica Gomez, and Yubaraj Sangrula. Over to you, Monica. I would just like to ask Monica to start an introductory video for a few.
Hi, a very, very warm welcome to this Global Campus International and Child-led Conference on Mental Health in Kathmandu, the perspectives of children and the challenges and the way forward. My name is Manfred Novak. I'm Secretary General of the Global Campus of Human Rights, which is a network of about 100 universities. We are organizing 7 master programs in different regions of the world, including in the Asia-Pacific region. Since we have a very close cooperation with the Right Livelihood Foundation, that is on children's rights, our recent international conferences that bring together participants from all the different regions are focusing more on children's rights. And child participation is a very, very important element of that. The last international conference took place in Yerevan in 2021. It was about climate justice with a strong child participation element. But this conference in Kathmandu, that really goes a major step forward. And that means it is not only done with child participation and involvement, it is child-led. We developed many different consultations in all the different regions where the children were discussing in a long process what is the most important topic for this conference. And they finally decided it's mental health, which is not surprising. It has to do with the COVID-19 pandemic and its consequences, but also with the right to education. And I'm very happy that that is really decided by children, and we are now developing it further in our Global Campus Children's Leadership Group. And I would like to also thank very much a few individuals. First of all, Yubarai Sangrula, who is the director of the Kathmandu School of Law, together with Ravi Prakash, who is our friend and colleague in the Global Campus Council. Manu Krishan did quite a lot in preparing it. He's primarily responsible for the global study, but he did a lot on the child participation, together with Reina Marilode, the Global Campus Children's Rights Manager, and Victor Karunan, who is a specialist on child participation. Thank you very much for your input. And I wish you for the next 2 days, where we are splitting you up into 2 groups because of time differences, a lot of interesting discussions. First of all, the children and young people, but also all the stakeholders of the Global Campus, that is our students, our alumni, our professors, experts from intergovernmental, non-governmental organizations, civil society stakeholders, etc. I wish you a very, very successful and interesting conference in the coming 2 days. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Veronica Gomez. I am president of the Global Campus of Human Rights and member of the steering committee of Right Livelihood Foundation. Welcome to this international conference, to the participants from international organizations, civil society, and academia, and most important, to children from all over the world. This year, the Global Campus International Conference is unique, as the theme and process was decided by children from all over the world. The Global Campus and its regional programs work closely, first with children from Nepal and thereafter from all regions of the world for the last 6 months in order to facilitate multiple national consultations. In total, 10 national consultations in 5 regions of the world were held. The countries where consultations were held included Nepal, India, Armenia, South Africa, Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Lebanon, and Italy. In total, we reached out to 111 children, and 17 of these children were selected by their peers to represent them in a leadership team that held 5 more international sessions. Special thanks to all these children who have been instrumental in the process. They devoted long hours and weekends to this endeavor. Special thanks also to the Global Campus regional child rights officers that accompanied the consultations. You, the participating young change makers, have been instrumental in planning this event and its structure, and in showing leadership in asking the right questions and selecting the themes of mental health and education for this global conference. This has a transcendent meaning for your present as children and your future as adults. The Global Campus of Human Rights takes this opportunity to listen and learn from you in order to support you in creating a healthier future for all based on the promise of informed global citizenship. Thank you for leading this initiative.
Human rights and democratization अर्थात् मानवाधिकार तथा प्रजातान्त्रिकरण को मास्टर डिग्रीको जुन कार्यक्रम छ त्यसलाई हामी अंग्रेजीमा आत्मा भन्ने गर्छौं त्यसको ग्लोबल क्याम्पस छ अर्थात् विभिन्न क्षेत्रका यी क्याम्पसहरुबाट ग्लोबल क्याम्पस बन्छ उनीहरु सबैले एउटा सञ्चालन गर्दै आएको यो बच्चा-बच्चीको बालबालिकाको मानवाधिकार सम्बन्धी जुन एउटा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय कार्यक्रम हो त्यसको लागि हामीले हाम्रो तयारी कम्प्लिट गरेका छौं मेरो नाम युवराज संग्रौला हो म काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ल को एक्जिक्युटिभ डाइरेक्टर म प्राध्यापक हुँ 13 जना विद्यार्थीहरुको एउटा सर्वेक्षणबाट उनीहरुका चाहनाहरु उनीहरुका अभिलाषाहरु केन्द्रित भएका छन् र अब उनीहरु सहित यो भाग लिएको एउटा सम्मेलन हुन्छ यो बालबालिकाको मनोवैज्ञानिक स्वास्थ्यको बारेमा यसपालिको कन्फरेन्स हो त्यो सम्मेलनमा खास गरी अहिलेको कोभिड-19 ले पारेको जुन एउटा असर हो त्यो असरबाट बालबालिकाहरुमा परेको उनीहरुको अधिकारको उल्लङ्घन उनीहरुको मनोविज्ञानको असर जस्ता कुराहरुमा उनीहरुले छलफल गर्छन् र त्यसमा काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ल यो आत्मा अर्थात् ह्युमन राइट एन्ड डेमोक्रेटाइजेसन मास्टर डिग्री प्रोग्रामको एउटा सेन्टरको रूपमा रहेको हुनाले यहाँबाट नेपाली 13 जना विद्यार्थीहरुले कलेजको तर्फबाट प्रस्तुत गर्छन् र यो अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सम्मेलनमा उनीहरुले आफ्ना विचारहरु राख्छन् त्यो विचारहरुमा खास गरी उनीहरुले नेपालको अवस्था बालबालिकाको अधिकारको कुरा र उनीहरुको मनोविज्ञानको कुरा गर्छन् यता विगत 20 वर्षमा नेपालभित्र धेरै राजनीतिक परिवर्तनहरु भएका छन् हामीसँग बच्चा-बच्चीहरुको मानव अधिकारलाई संरक्षण गर्ने संविधान निर्माण भएको छ र हामीसँग बालबालिकाको अलग्गै आयोग छ मन्त्रालय छ र बालबालिकाका लागि विभिन्न खालका कार्यक्रमहरु पनि छन् त्यसकारण दक्षिण एसियामा बालबालिकाको अधिकारको संरक्षणको सन्दर्भमा नेपालको एउटा अग्रणी भूमिका छ अहिले तत्काल हाम्रो बन्दै गरेको पूर्वाञ्चल विश्वविद्यालयको जुन सेमिस्टर सिस्टमको नयाँ पाठ्यक्रममा अनुसन्धान भइराछ त्यसभित्र बच्चा-बच्ची सम्बन्धी कानुन अलग्गै एउटा विषयको रूपमा रहन्छ र यो सबै कुराहरु अहिलेको यो सम्मेलनमा बालबालिकाले व्यक्त गरेका कुराहरुबाट त्यो कोर्स बनाउन समेत हामीलाई चाहिँ धेरै ठूलो मद्दत हुन्छ त्यसैले काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ल बच्चा-बच्चीको अधिकारको बारेमा संलग्न भएको संस्था हो र नेपालमा जुवेनाइल जस्टिस बाल न्यायको बारेमा विचारोपण गर्ने संस्था पनि यो भएको हुनाले यो रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी हामीले धेरै पहिलादेखि सम्पादन गर्दै आएको छौं र यो सम्मेलनलाई हामी एकदम भव्यतापूर्वक सफल गर्छौं र यो कन्फरेन्स गर्न ग्लोबल क्याम्पस संलग्न छ र त्यसलाई सहयोग गर्नको लागि विभिन्न संस्थाहरू छन् नेपालका बालबालिका सम्बन्धी संस्थाहरू त्यसैगरी मानव अधिकार आयोग त्यसैगरी युनिसेफ लगायतका विभिन्न संस्थाहरू यसमा संलग्न छन् उनीहरुसँग सहकार्य गर्न हामी पहिलेदेखि संलग्न हुँदै आएको हो उहाँहरु सबैलाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु यो सम्मेलनमा संलग्न हुनु भएकोमा र यो प्रोजेक्टलाई डिजाइन गर्ने कुरामा मनफ्रेडको पहिलेदेखि भूमिका छ र उसको संलग्नताप्रति पनि हामी खुशी छौं
Excellent. So that is for all the welcoming addresses. Thank you very much for all three of the speakers there. I want to, before I hand over to our first group of young people introducing the agenda, I just want to remind everyone to please do mute yourselves when you join, and also we have simultaneous translation, so if you do want to to pick the language of you speak, just go down to the interpretation section there, and there you can select from the languages there. So with no further ado, I want to hand over to our representatives from the Global Campus Children Leadership Team in Lebanon, who are Jaden and Kitan, to introduce the agenda for us. Thank you.
Greetings and welcome to this Global Campus for Human Rights International Conference on the theme in Nepal on the theme mental health, children's perspectives on the challenges and ways forward. My name is Jaden. I'm 16 years old and I come from Syria, Lebanon, and living in Beirut, Lebanon. This international conference was originally planned to take place in person in Kathmandu, Nepal, but due to current COVID-19 pandemic, it will be held online for 2 days. This conference is hosted by Kathmandu School of Law in cooperation with the National Child Rights Council and the National Children Protection Alliance of Nepal, and supported by Consortium Nepal and UNICEF. From the start, the process leading up to this international conference has been child-led. We started over 5 months ago with national consultations with children and young people to share our major problems, concerns, and solutions on our rights as children. Between September and December, over 111 children participated in national consultations in 5 regions: Africa, South Africa, Middle East, Lebanon, Asia, Nepal, and India. Armenia, Europe, Italy, and Latin America, Brazil, Chile, and Ecuador. At each consultation, 2 children were selected by the children themselves to present them in the Children's Leadership Team. This team met over five times the past month to prepare and plan the sessions of this international conference. The children themselves chose the topic of mental health as the main theme of this conference and 3 subtopics which we will discuss today and tomorrow. On behalf of the organizers and cooperating partners of this international conference, I once again welcome you all warmly and hope our discussion will be constructive and help us all to address this major challenge of mental health for children and young people all over the world. I now hand over to my friend Hitam to explain the purpose of this conference and introduce the agenda and sessions. Welcome again and thank you. Over to Hitam.
مرحبا، اسمي ختام، عمري 16 سنة، وأنا من سوريا إدلب، بعيش الآن ببيروت. في هذا المؤتمر سنناقش موضوع الصحة النفسية. كما نعلم جميعا، الصحة النفسية هي مصدر قلق كبير لجميع الأطفال والشباب في العالم. أصبح هذا الموضوع أكثر أهمية الآن مع جائحة كورونا والطريقة التي غيرت بها حياتنا اليومية وتعليمنا ومجتمعنا. كما نعلم أن الصحة العقلية للأطفال والشباب كانت مسألة مهملة لحد ما، وتتطلب بالتالي اهتمام من العاجل. هذا هو سبب أهمية هذا المؤتمر لنا نحن الأطفال ولكم جميعا. في هذا المؤتمر ندعوكم جميعا للانضمام إلينا، الأطفال والشباب، وخاصة اقتراحاتكم بشأن ما يجب القيام به. نريد أن يكون هذا المؤتمر حوارا مفيدا بين الأطفال والكبار والكبراء في معالجة الصحة النفسية. نظرا لأننا كثيرون من العديد من البلدان في العالم، كان علينا تنظيم هذا المؤتمر في جلستين كل يوم. كل جلسة تشمل الأطفال والبالغين والشركاء من المناطق ولغات مختارة. اختار الأطفال أنفسهم 3 مواضيع فرعية لمناقشتها في مؤتمرنا. أولاً عدم وجود آليات تربوية للصحة النفسية. ثانياً تأثير الصحة النفسية على العنف ضد الأطفال. ثالثاً المنافسة الغير صحية والصحة النفسية. اليوم الأول في الجلستين سنناقش هذه المواضيع الثلاثة. سيكون لدينا أطفال بالإضافة إلى خبراء مختارين في كل موضوع يشاركوننا بآرائهم ووجهات نظرهم. سنتحدث اليوم عن مشاكلنا واهتماماتنا واقتراحاتنا حول كيفية معالجة المشكلة. غدا اليوم الثاني في الجلستين سنناقش الحلول وما يجب القيام به في كل من هذه المواضيع. سنجمع هذه الاقتراحات لإعداد خطة عمل للأطفال بشأن الصحة العقلية. ستكون هذه الاقتراحات دليلنا لأنشطتنا وإجراءاتنا المستقبلية في بلداننا ومناطقنا بعد هذا المؤتمر. لذا فلنبدأ. سأقوم الآن بتسليم المهمة إلى رينا.
Thank you very much for that introduction. As you can all hear, that we've got quite a lot to get through in the next 2 days. And for that reason, I'm going to waste no time. And I'm going to ask Christina from Nepal, also one of our children representative from the leadership group, to introduce the first session, which will be on the lack of education mechanism for mental health. And I give you the floor, Christina, and I'll start your power presentation in just a minute.
Hello, good morning, afternoon to everyone. I am Christina Nirola from Nepal, Biratnagar. I study in Maryland College in 2011. I'll be moderating the first session. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone for coming today.
मैं सभी को धन्यवाद बोलना चाहूंगी कि वो आ जाए.
So in the first session, we have the major topic as mental health. We have the all over topic as mental health. In today's session, we have the main topic as mental health, which is a major issue regarding children. It can be simply defined as a state of well-being where every individual realizes his or her potential and can cope with the normal stress of life and can work productively. Next slide, please. We had the regional consultations and discussions with the CZ Children's Leadership Team, and some of the points that were prioritized are physical and mental health, education, discrimination, and child abuse. Next slide. So mental health became our major topic because, like we all thought, it's one of the most important major issue that people must be concerned about. The subtopics under the mental health are lack of educational mechanism for mental health, which we will be discussing in the first session, mental health impact of violence against children and teenagers, and unhealthy competition and mental health. Next slide, please. So firstly, going to the session of lack of educational mechanism on mental health, we need to keep the three things in our three questions we need to keep on our mind. That is, do children have proper educational mechanism? Because it relates with the lack of mechanism on mental health, educational mechanism on mental health. So next question is, are they informed about the importance of mental health? And the next question is, do they have proper trustworthy people to listen to them at their schools, colleges, or wherever they go? Next slide, please. Talking about the lack of educational mechanism for mental health, it simply means the way children are treated at the schools, homes, and the way the educational procedure that we get, the curriculum that we live in. Or it also covers the area like absence of support for children at schools and homes, access to education for all children, right to education for person under disability, and availability of trustworthy counselors at schools, and also about the child-friendly education system. So now I would like to thank you so much, Reina. Now I would like to invite my friend to share their ideas, issues, concern briefly on this topic. You can just simply raise your hand using the Zoom feature. Also write on the chat box. You can share your ideas here, raising your hand. What do you feel about mental health? What do you feel about educational mechanism? You can just share your ideas, experience, or whatever you have questions and queries regarding it. So I see here no hands up. So I'll just be explaining a little bit of things. Like in Nepal, we had regional consultations as well in our country, and there we discussed about child abuse. We discussed about children being addicted to various toxic substances, as well as we talked about the importance of mental health. Like we have so much of issues in our country regarding the counselors. We don't have proper counselors at school levels and government levels or ward levels or anywhere. So what is the situation of that in your country? Like, what are the problems you are facing under the mental health? You can even share that. What are the things, what are the problems that we are sharing? Your floor is all open. I would like to invite my friends from India, Armenia, and as well as Nepal if they want to speak something on this topic, whatever their experience, ideas, concerns regarding it. You can just feel free to express here. I see her no hands up, so I'll explain. Okay, thank you, Regina. So you can just, floor is all yours.
So hello everyone, namaste. It's me, Regina. So basically, as we are choosing the main theme of mental health, and the one and the most important interrelated subtopic is our education mechanism. So basically, as we talk about COVID situation, so which is mostly affecting not only physically but as well as mentally, and especially I think we children are mostly affected by COVID in the education system, because we can't go normal as per normal for the education and like whole system, and especially in our country Nepal, that we don't have access to internet and mobile phones to every student. So that became a major issue within that education system, or in that education process also. So because of that reason also, whether directly or indirectly, children were suffering, like comparing their levels, well, whether that's financially, whether that's become education, like it's unaffordable because they can't afford that education at that period. And similarly, because of the uncertainty of the situation, whether they can normalize the situation as per previous, as they used to go out for playing, as they used to go out with the friends to study and all those things. So I think COVID has affected so badly, not only physically but also mentally. So and well, while talking about the education system, I think it's play the vital role to ensure the mental health issue from the school level, from the curriculum level, because as we talk about, we don't have any counselor or something like that in school, because if that gonna happen, or even the topic of mental health could be included within our curriculum, then it gonna be much more easier, so that now there's trend and influence of getting depression, anxiety, or something like health issue related to the mental health could be minimized or could be solved easily if we had the like counselor or some suggestion guidance from our senior, not only in home but also especially in school, because most of our more than half, or more than 8 hours of a day we spend in school, so it's the major part of our life. So I think yeah, education system must be improved.
Thank you so much, Regina, for your wonderful words. You talked about mental health, including mental health in our curriculum, as well as having the proper counselor at different levels. So I see next is Mohammed. You can just, the floor is all yours. You can just start up.
مرحبا. لدي بعض النقاط. في لبنان لدينا هذا مثل الصحة النفسية أو الصحة العقلية، إنها كمرض يتعاملون معها كأمراض وليس كمشاكل بسيطة ممكن أن تحل باستشارات أو بعض هذا الشيء. ففي لبنان القليل جدا من يحاولون أن يتعافون هذا الشيء، فإنه مرض لديهم فرق.
ممكن يكون هذا مرض خطير لأنه الصحة النفسية يكون مرض كتير خطير، لأنه هو بيكون عادي، هو بس بده اهتمام من الأهل. هلا الولد الصغير في أي كلمة هو بيتأثر، يعني إذا بيروح الصبح على المدرسة يعني بتحكي كلمة حلوة فهو ممكن كل النهار بيكون مبسوط، بس في يعني في كتير تقصير من الأهل بخصوص هذا الموضوع. يعني ممكن يكون ما في اهتمام للولد الصغير بخصوص الصحة النفسية، بخصوص كيف نتعامل معه، كيف يعني كثير اشياء بسيطة تأثر عليه. فبعتقد انه اكثر المشاكل بيجي من الاهل، عدم الاهتمام.
ولا نجد اي معالجة لهذا الشيء، فكما قلت انه يتعاملوا معه كمرض وليس كشيء بسيط ممكن معالجته باستشارة طبيب نفسي او
وممكن اذا بيروح على طبيب نفسي او بيستشير طبيب نفسي بيصير انه هو مجنون وبيصير مريض، بيكون يعني مش
بس تخلص.
Thank you so much, Muata and Mohammed, for your wonderful words. I can even see Dinesh Pandey. You can just speak up.
Thank you, Christina. And मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्छ भने चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ कोभिडको टाइम छ र कोभिडको टाइममा चाहिँ स्कुलहरू पनि बन्द भइरहेका छन् र जताततै अहिले अनलाइन क्लास पनि चलिरहेको छ र यो मेन्टल हेल्थको कुरा गर्दा चाहिँ कोही बालबालिका सबैतिर भन्दा पनि कोही बालबालिकाहरू चाहिँ अब मेन्टल हेल्थले इफेक्ट पारिरहेको होला र उनीहरूलाई मेन्टल हेल्थले इफेक्टले पारेको हुँदा चाहिँ कहिलेकाहीँ स्कुल खुल्दाखेरि चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई साथीहरूसित घुलमेल हुँदा चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई सजिलो हुने थियो, साथीहरूसित मिलेर साथीहरूसित रमाइलो गरेर भेटघाट हुँदा उनीहरूको मेन्टल स्ट्रेस कम हुन्थ्यो र उनीहरूलाई त्यसबाट धेरै सजिलो हुन्थ्यो। तर अहिले भने अनलाइन क्लासले गर्दा चाहिँ अब न त साथीहरूसित घुलमिल भएको छ र न त राम्रो टिचरहरूसित बोल्न सकिएको छ। पहिला स्कुल खुलेको हुँदा चाहिँ टिचरहरूले काउन्सिलिङ गर्दा पनि मेन्टल हेल्थमा धेरै सजिलो भएको हुन्थ्यो र अब चाहिँ मेन कुरा चाहिँ के भन्न पर्दा चाहिँ विद्यार्थीहरू सबै बालबालिकाहरू सबै घरमै छन् र अब चाहिँ हाम्रो सबैभन्दा साथी भनेको काउन्सिलर भनेको सबै आफ्नो प्यारेन्ट्सहरू हो र अब मेनली चाहिँ मैले भन्न खोजेको के भन्दा चाहिँ अब चाहिँ प्यारेन्ट्सहरूलाई चाहिँ उनीहरूको टेक केयर भन्दा पनि अब ठुलो कुराले प्यारेन्ट्सहरूले चाहिँ के गरिरहेछ, अब बच्चाहरूसित अब आफ्नो बच्चाहरूसित सँगै बसिरहने र अनलाइन क्लासमा हेल्प गर्ने अनि लगत्तै उनीहरूलाई धेरै कुरामा मेन्टल स्ट्रेसहरू के भइरहेको छ र पारिवारिक समस्याहरूलाई कसरी झेल्ने भनेर सिकाउनु चाहिँ अब मेनली चाहिँ प्यारेन्ट्स नै अब काउन्सिलर हुनुपर्छ घरमा चाहिँ। थ्याङ्क यू।
Thank you so much, Dinesh. It was very fruitful. You talked about we are not able to coordinate with the teachers when we have the online classes. We'll not be able to manage the time according to that. We will not have that kind of family environment. So next is Niyati. Is Niyati here?
We just lost her. She's just joining now again. Yeah, so give her 2 seconds.
I see Aman as well. You can just say.
So I have a question to you, Christina.
Yeah, sure.
Can you explain me in briefly that how do you want to describe education mechanism? Like someone is not giving you or any other children is in a problem regarding education, and if it is, what are the main causes or what do you want to highlight that cause of this thing you are not getting over it and facing problem? Please, if you tell.
Yeah, you just asked about like what can be the major causes of educational problem, right? Yeah, so according to me, it might be like school, the environment that we get in school. Like it's not proper. We don't have proper counselors at our schools and local levels and everywhere. And also the next is the family environment that we get. Might be parents are fighting there and the children cannot focus on their studies. Third might be variant, whatever we are facing the like right now, it's pandemic situation, whatever we are facing. Fourth might be the peer pressure that we get. Like the companions that we have, okay, like they are not studying properly and we have the same kind of companions there. These might be the problems or reasons behind it. Is it fine?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next one, I see Nani.
Բարև, կցանկանայի նաև մեկ կարևոր հարցի այդ խնդրի անդրադառնալ, որը որ հաճախ նկատում ենք քրթական համակարգում, օրինակ գյուղերում եւ քաղաքներում շատ է տարբերվում, թե ինչպես են անցնում քրթական, ընդհանրապես ինչպես են կառուցված դպրոցները, որտեղ օրինակ դպրոցներում տրամադրում են համակարգիչներ, տարբեր փոքրիկ լաբորատորիաներ եւ այլն, իսկ գյուղի փոքրիկ դպրոցներում նույն հնարավորությունները չկան եւ գյուղի երեխաները, ովքեր որ չեն կարող գալ քաղաք, թե ֆինանսական խնդիրներով եւ թե այլ, դրա պատճառով ավելի հետ են մնում ու ավելի քիչ բան են տեսնում։ Իսկում է դա էլ կարող ենք որպես խնդիր համարել։
Thank you so much, Nana. It was really good to hear you. I also see that Niyati is back. If Niyati could keep her points in short, it would be great.
Thank you so much. Actually, due to some network issues, I got disconnected. So, as you said that what are the problems of mental health in your country? So, the first and foremost reason for India to lose its mental health is the lack of awareness and sensitivity about the issue. There is a big stigma around people suffering from any kind of mental health issues. They are often tagged as lunatics by the society. This leads to various cycles of shame, suffering, and isolation of the patients. Also, there is a serious shortage of mental health care workforce in India. Mental health situation in India demands active policy interventions and resource allocations by the government to reduce stigma around the mental health. We need measures to train and sensitize the community or society. This can happen only when we are persistent nationwide effort to educate the society about mental diseases. We also need to step to connect the patients with each other by forming a peer network. So they could listen and support each other. Moreover, people experience mental health problems should get the same access to safe and effective care as those with physical health problems. Additionally, mental illness must mandatorily be put under the ambit of life insurance. This will help people to see mental illness with the same lens as they use to see physical diseases. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you so much, Niyati, for your fruitful words. Now we are done with the children. If you have more concerns and ideas about it, you can just present it in the chat box. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for this wonderful thing. Now, we also have our experts to share their ideas and concerns about it. I would like to ask experts for sharing their ideas. You can even raise your hand and then start with it. I can see your Miss Chandrakala Sharma. I'll just invite her to talk few words about this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the organizer for organizing such a wonderful program, which is led by the children and which is totally focusing on mental health. That's the children's perspective on the challenges and way forward. Myself, Professor Chandrakala Sharma, I'm a psychiatric nurse and I'm an academician. I just retired a month now and I work in mental health. So my area is mental health nursing. So I worked as a professor in Tribhuvan University Marasmus Nursing Campus. So I would like to express my views in Nepali so that the students will have a better understanding. And if you want to have more in English, I can go forward again. So thank you very much. नानीहरु बच्चाहरु सबैजनालाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु क्रिस्टिना and like you well presented the issues related to mental health. तपाईले मानसिक स्वास्थ्यको बारेमा धेरै कुराहरु राम्रोसँग प्रस्तुतिकरण गर्नुभएको छ र अब मानसिक स्वास्थ्यमा डेफिनेटली हो बच्चाहरुलाई यो एजुकेशनल मेकानिजममा चाहिँ प्रपर एजुकेशनल मेकानिजम छैन भन्ने खालको कुरा जुन्डाउनु भएको छ त्यो केही हदसम्म चाहिँ त्यो सत्य हो र त्यो कुराहरु चाहिँ हामीले अहिले हाम्रो जानकारीमा भएको सम्म चाहिँ यो शिक्षा मन्त्रालयले अहिले चाहिँ विभिन्न शिक्षकहरुलाई टिचर्सहरुलाई जो टिचर्सहरु चाहिँ डाइरेक्टली हाम्रो अध्ययन अध्यापनमा चाहिँ इन्भल्भ भएको हुन्छ टिचर्सहरुलाई चाहिँ चाइल्ड साइकोलोजीको बारेमा हैन चाइल्ड फ्रेन्डली इन्भाइरोमेन्ट मेन्टेन गरेर अध्ययन अध्यापन गराउनु पर्छ भन्ने कुराहरुलाई चाहिँ धेरै फोकस गरिएको छ र अर्को एउटा मैले यहाँहरु समक्ष एउटा कुरा के राख्नु चाहे भने अहिले स्कुल मेन्टल हेल्थ नर्स अपॉइन्ट गरेको छ तपाईहरुलाई थाहा छ कि छैन स्वास्थ्य मन्त्रालयबाट विगत 2-3 वर्षदेखि स्कुल मेन्टल हेल्थ नर्स अपॉइन्टेड गरिरहेको छ र स्कुल नर्स नट मेन्टल हेल्थ नर्स सरी स्कुल नर्स विल टेक केयर अफ द चिल्ड्रेन इन द स्कुल्स अब बच्चाहरुलाई चाहिँ टेक केयर गर्नको लागि उनीहरुको शारीरिक साथसाथै मानसिक स्वास्थ्यलाई पनि को हेरचाहको लागि स्कुल हेल्थ नर्सको चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ अपॉइन्टमेन्ट गर्ने चलन चाहिँ गरेको छ हैन र त्यो एउटा कुरा मैले यहाँहरु समक्ष जानकारी गराउन चाहे र अर्को चाहिँ मेन्टल हेल्थ
एक्सक्यूज मी डॉक्टर
एकदमै
Dr. Sharma, sorry. Yes? Sorry, the translation isn't coming through very well. Do you mind carrying on in English? Because the other direction it's working quite well.
So you want me to carry out in English?
Yes, because the translation isn't working very well, but the other way around it's working perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. So actually what I'm telling is that we have a provision of appointing school health nurse. It has started for the last 2 years, and what we think is that school health nurse is taking care of the children at school and also assessing the schools, the children's health condition, and not only focusing on physical, it also tries to focus on the mental health. So that's what I want to give information to the children. And like the children, it's very important now during the COVID period, there's a lot of issues regarding the child's education is there. So, and as one of the participants, one of the student, he said that they are shut down at home and there is a lot of child abuse is going on because the parents are not being able to concentrate on the issues outside at home, and they are facing a lot of problems due to the lockdown, due to the shutdown. Maybe you can say like their work has been lost. They might have socio-economic crisis, economic crisis. So that also might have led to the mental tension, and that tension has been reflected to the children, and the children are getting problem. That's true. And I just want to say that in this point that we need to provide a lot of guidance and counseling to the parents itself to how to handle this situation. And as we are facing a lot of problem regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, and one thing I want to say as a mental health expert, like nothing is going to be permanent. So we should be optimistic that we should feel that this is not permanent and it will go down, it will go off. So the positive attitude is very important, even among the parents and also even among the children. And what I feel is that we need a lot of awareness regarding, created regarding the mental health issues and how to take care of those children at home. That is very important. And a lot of parents, counseling to the parents and a lot of awareness programs are needed to give to the parents as well as to the caretakers of the children at home. That is very important. So what I think is that we don't know the outcome is uncertain. Even if you are under stress, it's not going to be changed. So you have to keep in mind that nothing is permanent. This is for a certain period of time, it will go off. That will make us feel little bit, put us little bit into, that will lead us to less anxiety, less fearfulness. So that is very important. And what the children said, it's very important that we have to listen to the children. We have to, as a parents, as a caretakers, as a teachers, we have to listen to them, and we have to be with them so that their fear, their worries about their studies, and the age is like that they want to mingle up with their friends, and that is being avoided. So that creates a lot of problems. So what I want to share, one thing is that in Nepal, for the first time in Nepal, in Kanti Children Hospital, we have started, there is a child and adolescents clinic has been started, and child and adolescents clinic has been started since 2015, and there's one child psychiatrist, Dr. Arun Raj Kumar. So he's doing a fabulous work, and even to my knowledge, the Ministry of Education is focusing on incorporating education, child psychology in the curriculum of the teachers, in the teachers training. So I would really appreciate the student. One of the participants said that mental health has to be incorporated in the school curricula. That is very important, and so that will make them, that will put them at more ease to achieve their optimum mental health. Thank you very much. If you have anything, I'm here. We'll be back again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring words. It was really fruitful. You talked about like we are going to have the school mental nurse as well, mental health nurse as well, and you talked about the mental child abuse that we are facing right now, and many more development works that are going to be held in this sector. So, as talking about
one thing, sorry, Christina, I just want to correct that. We have already, Ministry of Health and Population has already appointed school health nurse. Sorry, it's not mental health nurse. And school health nurse, they want to have each, they had put the mandatory that each school should have a nurse. So that school health nurse should be appointed. So that nurse will take care of the children in the school. And if they have any problem regarding physical as well as mental health, if they have to have referral, so that will be taken through that school health nurse. Thank you.
I'm really sorry, I misunderstood it.
You're on mute, Christina. Yeah.
Now, I don't see any experts raising their hand. You can even share your ideas in your chat box. So thank you so much, everyone, for your wonderful words, wonderful time, and then audience as well, my friends as well, teachers as well, and our experts as well for giving their fruitful and amazing experience, whatever they face, amazing information about it. So thank you so much, and I would like to hand over it to Reina again.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Christina. And I think we can all give you some love with the emotions for the wonderful moderation that you just did. It's really fantastic. And yes, like during our conversations, during the consultations, this issue of the mechanism came to the fore. And again, some of the similar topics came up: the need for counselors, need for more support when we're online, having to deal with COVID-19 and having to face education restrictions in several parts of the world. True to conference style, we're already running a little bit late, so I'm going to immediately hand over to our next group, who is focusing on the mental health impact of violence against children and teenagers. And our moderator for this session will be from Armenia, the lovely Lucina. Over to you.
Բարև ձեզ, նախ կցանկանամ Քրիստինային շնորհակալություն հայտնել այդքան հասկանալի եւ գեղեցիկ վարելու համար սեանսը։ Ներկայանամ, ես Լուսինե Իշխանյանն եմ, ծննդավայրս Լեռնային Ղարաբաղի Շուշի քաղաքն է։ Ներկայացնում եմ Հայաստանը։ Ես կվարեմ երկրորդ սեսիան, որի ընթացքում մենք կխոսենք բռնության հետևանքով երեխաների մոտ առաջացած մտավոր հոգեկան առողջության խնդիրներից։ Կբերեմ սեփական օրինակ, որից հետո կանդրադառնամ այն կետերին, որոնք նախորդ կոնֆերանսների ընթացքում ներկայացրել են իմ ընկերները։ Ես, ինչպես արդեն նշեցի, Շուշիից եմ եւ երբևիցե չեմ պատկերացրել, որ ինձ հետ կկատարվի պատերազմ ասվածը։ 2020 թվականի սեպտեմբերի 27-ը կյանքիս ամենավատ օրից մեկն է, որովհետև այդ օրը լսեցի ու զգացի բաներ, որոնք որ օրապես շատ խորը անդրադարձան հոգեկան առողջությանս բուժման մեջ։ Այսօր ես պատմում եւ նորից եմ վերհիշում այդ ամենը, ինչը ինձ համար բառերով նկարագրելն ուղղակի անհնար է։ Ուզում եմ ասել, որ հոգեկան առողջությունը շատ մեծ դեր ունի ինչպես դեռահասների, այնպես էլ մարդու կյանքում, չափահաս, որովհետև այդ օրվանից ինձ պատում է վախի մթնոլորտը եւ ես լիովին կորցրել եմ իմ եսը։ Շատ չպատմեմ եւ անդրադառնամ այն կետերին, որոնք որ ներկայացրել են իմ ընկերները նախորդ կոնֆերանսների ընթացքում։ Այդ կետերից են օրինակ հոգեկան առողջության կրթությունը եւ դրա վերաբերյալ իրազեկության բացը, երեխաների իրավունքների առողջության իրավունքի եւ անվտանգ միջավայրում ապրելու իրավունքի անտեսումը, տեսական գիտելիքների վրա հենված կրթությունը եւ դրա խնդիրը ապրելու իրավունքի անտեսումը, տեսական գիտելիքների վրա հենված կրթությունը եւ դրա խնդիրը երեխաների ուղղորդելու հարցում, վերարտադրողական առողջության դասավանդման անհրաժեշտությունը, երեխաներին աշխատանքի ռիսկը, հատկապես գյուղական շրջաններում, լավ միջավայրում կրթություն ստանալու անհրաժեշտությունը, կիբերհանցագործությունը, երեխաների ամուսնությունը, թերսնուցումը։ Այս կետերը շատ են, սակայն նշվածները ուղղակի կամ անուղղակիորեն նպաստում են մեր առողջությանը, մտավոր զարգացմանը։ Այս ամենի մասին մեր շուրթերից լսելու համար այժմ ցանկանում եմ հրավիրել իմ ընկերներին, որպեսզի նրանք կիսվեն իրենց մտահաղացումներով։ Նշեմ, որ քննարկման այս փուլում մենք ունենք 10 րոպե, կցանկանամ, որպեսզի հերթագրվելու համար ձեռք բարձրացնելու սկզբունքով այդ խոսեք, եթե ինչ-որ մեկը ունի խոսելու բան, խնդրում եմ ձեռք բարձրացեք։ Օրինակ Հնդկաստանից որևիցե մեկը կցանկանար ինչ-որ մի բան ասել կամ այլ երկրներից։ Խնդրում եմ, որպեսզի ոչ մեկ չհամաչի։ Խնդրեմ Ռեջինա։
Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Բարև ձեզ։
Okay, so Hello everyone, once again namaste. So within this topic about that violence, basically while coming about talking about the violence, obviously it's not come only the like it's include various type of violence, not only within home or in school or in any public places, in street, anything. And yeah, violence always affect not only physically but also like betray the person mentally also. Like I want to give an example of like is because of this COVID. I'm relating everything with the COVID because in this present situation, because of COVID, we are compelled or we are more using the virtual medium. For example, we can take our example that we are attending the conference through virtually because of this COVID. So I think it has emphasized the value of digital world. So while talking about violence, I'd like to add like and focus on the cyber crimes or cyberbullying like that. And we can see that if something happens with us, like somebody post our erotic photos or videos or like that, or somebody bullied us. Targeting us and just bullied us using so negativity to us, then it not only like affects there, but it gonna be so terrified, like is we victim gonna get terrified, and even in our real life that we gonna be afraid to go out, like if that person again get made in real or some gonna harass me or like that. We have several cases in here, and in that case also most of the girls are being victimized because like are in whether in that pornography or something like that. And similarly in this COVID cases is we are compelled to get locked down or locked within our homes. So in that case, the in later on time, unfortunately or seamlessly, I have to say that cases, various harassment cases are increased because we are locked into home within our home, because we can't feel safe even within our homes. Especially the news of rape cases to the 11-month baby girl or something like from own their relatives are terrible, and that's affect the mental health. That news affect the mental health of each of us. Like we girls can't even feel safe within our home by hearing that news. So yeah, we are afraid of that thing, but it's just destroying the mental health as well. So I think violence needs to be controlled. And in school also we can see like various misbehavior or discrimination or like bullying, something like that, which affects our mental health. So most of the time we people discuss and talk about our physical health. For the physical fitness, if person looks physically fit, then that's not being healthy in all way. Like they might be like mentally suffer, they might have some problem, they might need some counselors or something like that. So I think we each of us individual need to be responsible for reducing this. And yeah, violence play the major role or is the major cause for the mental health issues. Thank you, that's it.
Շատ շնորհակալ եմ Ռեյնա, եւ կցանկանամ նշել, որ իհարկե բուլինգը դպրոցներում իրականում մեծ խնդրի առաջ է կանգնեցնում, ինչը վերաբերվում է նաեւ պորնոգրաֆիային, ինչ որ մեկը ուրիշ կցանկանա եւս խոսել։ Ես ձեռքեր չեմ տեսնում, ճիշտն ասած, մենք այս հարցով շատ ենք խոսել, խնդրում եմ չամաչել, ու մենք այստեղ հավաքվել ենք ոչ թե լռելու, այլ գործելու համար։
I will let you know, Lucina, when I see a hand up, so don't worry about that. What about our friends in Lebanon? Do you have anything to contribute here? Nane has her hand up.
Ես Նանեի ձեռքն եմ դե։ Խնդրեմ Նանե։
Նաև կցանկանայի ես նաև շատ կարևոր կետ նշել, որ հաճախ բռնությունը մենք նաև հանդիպում ենք ընտանիքներում, կարող է առաջին հայացքից օրինակ շատ դեպքեր են եղել, երբ որ ծնողներին մեղադրել են ինչ-որ բռնության գործում եւ սկսել են հատուկ օրգաններից մարդիկ գալ, որպեսզի ստուգել ընտանիքը, ու հենց այդ օրը, երբ որ այդ մարդիկ եկել են, ծնողները սենց ձևացրել են, թե իրենք իդեալական ընտանիք են, ոչ մի խնդիր չկա, բայց երբ որ այդ մարդիկ գնացել են, այդ ժամանակահատվածում նրանք շարունակել են երեխաներին ծեծի ենթարկել, նրանց վիրավորել, ասել, որ նրանք ոչ մի բանի չեն հասնելու, դրա համար ու դա եղել է ոչ միայն այն ընտանիքներում, որտեղ որ երեխաները օրինակ մանկատնից են կամ օրինակսական կապ չունեն իրենց ծնողների հետ, այլ նաև հենց սովորական ընտանիքներում, որտեղ որ իմ կարծիքով ծնողները ինչ-որ տրավմաներ ունեն եւ այդ պատճառով սկսում են իրենց երեխաներին ծեծի ենթարկել, բառեր ասել ու բացի բռնությունից նրանք հոգեբանական բռնություն են ստանում այդ պատճառով, դրա համար ինձ թվում է կարելի է այդ թեմայով մի քիչ խորանալ, որովհետեւ դպրոցում երբ որ Ռեջինան խոսեց դպրոցի իմ կարծիքով այդ երեխաներին տան ինչ-որ ձևով կամ թեկուզ բակում նեղացնում են կամ նրանց ծեծում են եւ նրանք որպեսզի այդ իրանց մեջի զայրույթը եւ ցավը հանեն, գնում են եւ ուրիշ երեխաներին են սկսում կպնել։ Այդ իսկ պատճառով հոգեբանները դպրոցներում թե ընդհանրապես քաղաքում պարտադիր են որպեսզի եւ գյուղերում նաեւ ցանկացած տեղ պարտադիր են լավ մասնագետներ, որպեսզի կարողանան այդ հարցը լուծվել եւ նաեւ նրանք խոսեն ծնողների հետ, ովքեր որ հենց երեխաներին բռնության են ենթարկվում, որ հետո արդեն երեխաները ապագայում տրավմաներով չմեծանան եւ ունենան լիարժեք մանկություն։ Մերսի շատ։
Ես լիովին համամիտ եմ Նանեի հետ, ես տեսնում եմ Լիտանի ձեռքը, խնդրեմ Լիտանի, թե որևէ բան ունես ասելու։
Thank you, everyone. My name is Lita Stwai. I work at the Center for Child Law in South Africa, Pretoria, as an attorney. Just to add on this issue of violence against children, the province, South Africa has 9 provinces, almost like states, and in our province, which is the smallest but has a lot of economic growth, there was an actual report that children, as much as 200,000 actually fell pregnant. And the youngest of those children were 10 years old, and that was during the pandemic. And everybody's been kind of shouting about the stats, but they're not digging deeper as to what's happening. Firstly, with regard to age of consent, which is 16 in South Africa, and children under the age of 12 cannot consent. So those specifically are actual rape matters. And we also have a culture of statutory rape. So having those stats coming from the Department of Health, where these children actually went to the hospital to give birth. We don't actually have stats on generally kids who were sexually violated, but also the only reason we have these stats is because these children went to hospital. And all of this actually happened during one of our hard lockdowns, the early parts of the pandemic, meaning the violence actually happened within the family or within the vicinity. And we need social workers to come in firstly to speak to the children and find out what's happening. But as of this January, none of that has actually happened. We just have these stats provided by one particular department, and the other departments, our police, our social development, which has our social workers, even psychologists, haven't actually said anything. So there's a lot of violence that has happened, and we're pretty sure that this is also happening in the other provinces, but they specifically haven't given or provided us such numbers. But it's one of the after effects of the pandemic here in South Africa. Thank you.
Շնորհակալություն շատ։ Ես տեսնում եմ Մուսանի, Մուհամեդի, Սալահի, Նաեֆի ձեռքերը։ նշեմ, որ մենք քիչ ժամանակ ունենք, եթե ձեզնից որևէ մեկը ցանկանում է խոսել, խնդրեմ նշեք ձեր երկիրը, աննազգանունը եւ կիսվեք ձեր խոսքով։
أنا أتحدث عن بعض الأشياء حدثت من قبل جائحة كورونا وبعد جائحة كورونا. فهي في المدارس نحن نعاني من شيء أنه بعض المشاكل النفسية يوجد أخصائيين في أخصائية نفسية، ولكن لا ينصون على بعض المشاكل، يحاولون حلها بالتصرف مع الإدارة، لكن ليس بالتصرف الذي يجب فعله كحل المشكلة بفهم هذه المشكلة ومعالجتها، لا بل بالعقاب أو شيء كهذا. وبالنسبة لي كما تحدث بعض الزملاء عن العنف وخاصة في جائحة كورونا، وهذا الشيء الدولة لا تنص عليه، وإذا تم الشكوى إلى أي مثلا من الجمعيات أو قوى الأمن، فهذه تعتبر مشاكل عائلية ولا يمكن لأي شخص التدخل بها. فهذا الشيء الذي نعاني منه في لبنان.
وبدي أضيف كمان شغلة بخصوص إنه العنف المنازل لما كانوا عم يحكوا بعض الأصدقاء، هلا ممكن بغير دول في حقوق الطفل في كثير يعني اشخاص مهتمين بهذا الموضوع، في الدوله كمان مهتمه بهذا الموضوع، بس عندنا بلبنان او ببيروت عندنا ما في منه هذا الشيء يعني. فممكن بتشوف في كثير اولاد عم ينضربوا بالبيت، في كثير اولاد، في كثير عنف عم بيصير بالبيت، وما في حدا مهتم بهذا الموضوع يعني. وبالاخص كمان بدي احكي بازمه كورونا. أزمة كورونا الأولاد 24 ساعة بالبيت مع أهاليهم، فهذا بيولد طاقة كتير كبيرة بين يعني بيعمل كتير مشاكل بين الأهالي والأولاد يعني، وبالنسبة يعني للتعامل معهم، فهن كل الوقت معهم، فهذا بيعمل كتير يعني مشاكل، بيعمل ضغط نفسي للأولاد كمان يعني. وشكرا.
وهذا الشيء يتخذونه في لبنان وفي الوطن العربي على أنه تربية، العنف على أنها تربية وليس على أنها في أذى
أو تعامل يعني.
فهذا الشيء الذي نعاني منه ونحاول حل هذه المشكلة. فقد نصينا على جميع من النشاطات ونحاول تفهم الأطفال، وبذلك حل بعض المشاكل في نطاق صغير، وهذا النطاق سوف يأثر على نطاقات كبرى وممكن أن نحل عدد بسيط، ولكننا نحاول فعل شيء بسيط.
نحن فكرنا انه كيف فينا نقدر نحل هيدي المشكله، فقدرنا نعمل اكتيفيتيز مع الاولاد، قدرنا نفهمهم شو هن حقوقهم، قدرنا نفهمهم انه شو فيهم يعملوا بحاله اذا كانوا هن فيها او كانوا بسيتويشن يعني كثير صعب، فبنخبرهم انه هن شو فيهم يعملوا، وين فيهم يروحوا. اقل شيء انه بيعرفوا حقوقهم. في هون نسبه كثير كبيره بلبنان وفي اشخاص نحن بنعرفهم اولاد ما بيعرفوا حقوقهم، ما بيعرفوا شو حقوق الطفل. فنحن عم نفكر انه عم نقدر نحاول نعمل اكثر اكتيفيتيز مع هدول الاشخاص نفهمهم.
نحاول ان نقول هذا الموضوع.
Ներեցեք հազար անգամ, ճիշտ ասած մեր ժամանակը շատ սուղ է, ես համոզված եմ, որ մեր փորձագետները ձեր հարցին կանդրադառնան։ Ռեյնա ջան, ես Մահոմադի ձեռքն եմ տեսնում, եթե թույլ կտաք, իրան էլ խոսք տանք, հետո նոր շարունակենք։
Please, of course, Mohammed, go ahead and then we can continue after that.
أيضا أريد الآن أن أتكلم عن طريقة معاملة الأهل لأطفالهم، فهم يستعملون العنف كطريقة تربية للأطفال يعني، فإذا رأيت الطفل يعنفونه مما يجعل انتقال العنف للأجيال القادمة. نعم. Շատ լավ։
Հիմա ուզում եմ խոսքը տալ մեծերին, շնորհակալ եմ շատ այս կարևորագույն հարցեր բարձրացնելու համար, կարծում եմ մեր մեծահասակ փորձագետները դեր հարցերից, եթե ոչ բոլորին, ապա շատերին կանդրադառնան, խնդրում եմ, ինչպես արդեն նշել եմ, ձեռք բարձրացնելու սկզբունքով հերթագրվեք, որպեսզի խոսենք, քննարկենք, լսենք ձեզ։ Ես տեսնում եմ, որ Հայաստանի մարդու իրավունքների գրասենյակը ձեռք է բարձրացրել, խնդրեմ, ողեք լսել։
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Lucina, thank you so much for your presentation. I'm really very sorry that you were supposed to face all those issues with regard to the 2020 44-day war in Artsakh. I would rather reflect on this presentation, I mean Lucina's presentation, and to shortly present the situation and the activities conducted by the Human Rights Defender's Office and the issues revealed therein. Indeed, after during the 44-day war, the fact-finding activities revealed that many children were affected due to this. 1 child died, 9 were severely wounded, many schools, kindergartens were damaged severely, and many children were deprived of education. And all this, I mean, this situation caused a very serious trauma to their mental health indeed. So the data which I have already presented, you can find this data in the official web pages of the Human Rights Defender's Office. I mean the reports which were published as well. The situation occurred during the war, as Lucina also presented, has not ended actually, because currently in Artsakh as well there are shootings there near the houses, near the border villages, and children are supposed to go to the schools, to kindergartens under those shootings of Azerbaijan military forces. And indeed, no one, I mean, including the international experts or other people, can say that this is in the context of the best interest of the child, because this is not, I mean, in any case, this cannot be justified. And we as a human rights oriented people need to find a solution for escaping this kind of solution, for preventing the possible violations violence against children, etc. So I strongly support Lucina's presentation, and I really hope that after the war she will find a solution to the issues. Some of them, indeed, we cannot find solution to all those problems, but at least some of them, to find the education, to find, let's say, other engagements of her. And in the meantime, just shortly about also the post-war situation. Some of you may be aware about the situation, but at least we have certain road which is currently controlled by Azerbaijani armed forces, which connects Artsakh with Armenia. And there was also a case when the bus with children was passing from Artsakh to Armenia, and the bus was stopped by the fully equipped military servicemen of Azerbaijan with a mask, with other stuff, and they, let's say, they ill-treated children there, because they demanded from them to say that Nagorno-Karabakh is Azerbaijan. I mean, this is, I don't know, nothing else than the violence against children, and there is no meaning to use this. And they cut certain parts from the car, etc. So just to present the situation, Lucina, about the post-war situation as well. And the violence against children is an ongoing process, I would rather say, in general, not only in Artsakh, but also in other territories of Armenia, near border villages. And this is connected not only to the mental health, but other vital rights. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And if there will be any questions, I mean, I suppose that the questions were presented to us, but in any case, if there will be a question, I'm standing ready to answer them. Thank you so much.
Խոսքի համար այժմ ցանկանում եմ խոսքը փոխանցել փորձագետ Քրիստինե Հոփին, խնդրեմ.
Thank you so much, Lucine, and thanks to you and all of the children who are speaking so powerfully and so eloquently today. Your work in bearing testimony to violence that you experience in your communities is part of transforming and changing violence. I'm going to finish on that, but first I want to respond to what we heard coming out in this conversation from many of you, which is that violence and incidents of violence have increased during COVID. We know that. Research tells us, data tells us, reports to child helplines internationally tell us that. And therefore, we know that urgent action is needed. Let me also just pause to say, my name is Kristen Hope. I work with international NGO Terre des Hommes, a Swiss charity. We work on child protection across 35 countries in the world. Since the start of COVID, I've been involved in research with children about how they have experienced the pandemic. And again, it has shown that children have have experienced more violence in the homes, online, as Regina said, as Nane said, and this violence does impact children for their lives. So we know that action is needed to respond to violence, and we know that action by governments is needed very urgently in the post-pandemic, or now as we're coming to a longer phase of pandemic. Governments need to prioritize investment in services to respond to violence. They need to prioritize investment in training professionals, whether it's social workers, whether it's psychologists in schools. It's critical for all of us to make sure that governments really invest in violence prevention and response. It's also really important to remind governments of their responsibilities to be supporting legal reforms. We heard from our colleagues in Lebanon that when you don't have a legal framework to respond, then action is not possible. And we as a community of child rights advocates need to remind governments of their commitments. Governments have committed to Sustainable Development Goal 16.2, which is to eliminate violence against children by 2030. We know that more urgent action is needed, and that needs to happen now. And I just want to finish by saying that, again, so prevention is obviously critical. And we know that some of our understanding of why violence happens is that it's also about abuse of power relationships, abuse of gender relationships, abuse in class, abuse of age, all of these these different ways that power affects our lives. And I believe that the work that is being done today here by the Global Campus and by all of us in the child rights community to empower children as agents of change is critical to starting to shift power relations to prevent violence. When we empower children to speak up, when we empower children to bear witness, we are preventing violence. But it doesn't mean the responsibility is only on children. We have to work together. You need support. Need adults to respond, to take their responsibilities seriously. But to really transform violence against children by empowering children. So thank you all for today. A really person. She's doing fantastic work. Thank you.
Ձեզ ևս շնորհակալություն, կցանկանամ խոսքը տալ մեր փորձագետ Ջանուկանին, որից հետո կամփոփենք մեր սեսիան։
You're still on mute, Januka.
Sorry.
Hello everyone, thank you so much. Namaste. I'm Januka from Nepal. I'm a child rights activist. I'm 19 years old and I'm also representing COVID under 19 as a peer mentor today that is based with TDH Switzerland with Kristen. She just spoke. So yeah, I just want to brief about mental health impacts briefly. So what I believe is government do have plans and policies as we raised the thing today in the discussion about punishment and all the things that really affects mental health of children. Governments really do have plans and policies, but we people, I believe that we ourselves are responsible for bringing such issues. For example, if the issue of mental health was raised some decades ago, then today I believe that we won't be here. We were really not compelled to be here in the discussion about the thing, because if violence really don't exist, then there is nothing to talk about. If there is no crime, there won't be any punishment. So I believe that today as a child we have joined here, today teenagers are here, some of the experts are here, parents may be here. So we all, today is the time to start changing the world, because today generation, today children will further in the future they will be the parents. And if parents think about the mental health of their children from today, then I think the issue will slowly be gradually be solved in the future. What we have the trend of negative motivation. I see in my belief or in my surrounding, I see that negative motivation really affects the children, because when the children is being naughty, or if he is not doing his homework, or if he is not eating the thing given by the parents, then parents really do say that, okay, I will call the police, I will call this, he will come and take you away. So the child is in fear that, oh, I will be taken by the police, or I will be done with something that I don't want to be involved in. So he is in fear, so he do the thing that parents or that his or her teacher wants him or her to do. But the thing is that he is being negatively motivated, and in the course of his future he really feels the way that he really don't, if even if he really don't want to do the thing, he do the thing, and else mental health is being affected. So I just want to say that today is the day, today is the time that we really start working on the thing. We should try to be positively motivated ourselves, and we should try to check what our children are doing, what they really want to do. We don't have to let them be isolated. During COVID, we have seen, so I just saw the news a few days ago about the pregnancy of 13 years old girl in Nepal. The bitter truth is that the girl is blamed, but the one who sexually abused her is really not in action. Like the society don't talk about him, don't talk about the wrong thing he did, but the girl, her future is in danger. So that is the thing we are being in problem. So thank you so much for the time. Thank you for having me.
Ձեզ ևս շնորհակալություն։ Կցանկանամ մեկ-երկու բառով ամփոփել։ Այսպիսով Ռեջինան խոսեց բուլինգը դպրոցներում մեզ իրականացնում է մեծ խնդիր, որը կարող է հանգեցնել շատ մեծ հետևանքների։ Նույնը վերաբերում է պորնոգրաֆիային։ Նանեն նշեց բռնության վերաբերյալ ընտանիքներում, որոնք շատ հազվադեպ են դիտարկվում կամ պատժի ենթարկվում։ Գիտան խոսեց նաև COVID-ի ընթացքում ընտանիքներում բռնության դեպքերի բարձրացման վերաբերյալ, COVID-ի եւ դրա հետևանքների վերաբերյալ խոսեց նաև Մոհամեդը եւ թե ինչպես է այս բռնությունը դիտարկվում որպես դաստիարակման մեթոդ։ Հայաստանի մարդու իրավունքների գրասենյակից խոսեցին նաև պատերազմի եւ երեխաների մտավոր առողջության մասին, շեշտադրվեց նաև մեծերի դերակատարությունը այս խնդիրին հաղթահարելու հարցում։ Քրիստին Հոփը վկայակոչեց ինչքան տեղեկատվություն ունենք, որը ապացուցում է ինչքան մեծ է եղել COVID-ի ազդեցությունը բռնության տոկոսի բարձրացման հարցում, սակայն որը շարունակվում է մինչև այսօր։ Որպես լուծում դուք նաև ներկայացրեցիք մի շարք մեխանիզմներ բռնության կանխարգելման հարցում։ Ջանուկանը նշեց, որ երբեմն քաղաքականությունները գեղեցիկ ձևակերպված են, բայց մեզ պակասում են գործողությունները։ Հուսամ այս սեսիայից մեզ այն շատերը շատ բան սովորեցին։ Այժմ ցանկանում եմ խոսքը փոխանցել Ռեյնային, շատ շնորհակալություն բոլորիդ։
Thank you very much, Lucine, for that expert moderation and for all the inspiring contributions. It surely is one of the most difficult and pressing topics in relation to mental health that needs tackling right now at the highest level, as has been said as well during the contributions. The next session, I'm going to immediately hand over to Aman and Nane for the session on unhealthy competition and mental health, which I think is also a very original and unique decision by the children to include this specific topic in the discussion, as it's also not very much present within the discourse at the moment in human rights. So please, Nane.
Շնորհակալ Ռեյնա, ողջունում եմ բոլորիդ, այսօր ես եւ իմ ընկերամանը կներկայացնենք շատ կարևոր թեմա, որի անվանում է անառողջ մրցակցություն։ Այս կողմ կցանկանայի ներկայանալ, ես Նանան եմ, 14 տարեկան, ապրում եմ Երևանում եւ ներկայացնել եմ Հայաստանը։ Ես կցանկանայի նշել, որ հաճախ անառողջ մրցակցության պատճառով մեզնից շատերը տուժում են, դա շատ է ազդում մեր եւ մեր շրջապատի հոգեկան առողջության վրա, երբ որ շատ աղջիկներ եւ տղաներ փորձում են անառողջ կերպով նմանակել կամ նմանվել ուրիշներին, իրենց վարքագիծ ունենալ կամ ամենապարզ օրինակներից մեկը, երբ որ օրինակ մի քիչ գերաղջիկը տեսնում է ավելի նիհարին եւ փորձում է իր նման դառնալ, որովհետեւ դպրոցում թե տանը եւ ցանկացած տեղ նրան բուլինգ են անում դրա համար, հոգեպես նրան կարելի է ասել բռնության են ենթարկում։ Այդ իսկ պատճառով նա սկսում է շատ խիստ դիետաների վրա նստել, նա իր առողջությունն առաջին հերթին հենց փչացնում եւ վերջում նա դժվար գոհանա, քանի որ դրա պատճառով նրա ներսում էլ է ամեն ինչ ոնց որ խառնվում, այդ իսկ պատճառով ամենակարևորը, որ հիմա մենք այնց հասարակություն ունենք, որ մարդիկ միշտ փորձում են մյուսներին նվաստացնել եւ այդ իսկ պատճառով էլ հենց ստեղծվում է անառողջ մրցակցությունը։ Նաեւ մենք մեր ընկերների հետ այս նախկին սեսիաների ընթացքում քննարկել ենք շատ կարևոր հարցեր, ենթահարցերից են մրցակցություն ինտերնետ հարթակներում, մրցակցություն երեխաների միջև դպրոցներում, գենդերային հավասարությունը, մրցակցությունը տղաների եւ աղջիկների միջև եւ դպրոցում եւ ընտանիքներում, այլ անհավասարությունները հենված մաշկի գույնի, կրոնի, սոցիալական դասի վրա, բուլինգը դպրոցներում, հաշմանդամություն ունեցող երեխաների անտեսումը, դրանք մեր դուրս գրված ամենակարևոր կետերն են, որը որ պետք է շուտ ոնց որ արձագանքել այդ հարցերին եւ փորձել դրանց լուծումներ գտնել։ Այս ամենի մասին մեր շրջերից լսելու համար ես հրավիրում եմ իմ հասակակիցներին, ընկերներին սկսելու քննարկումն ու կիսվելու իրենց կարծիքներով։ Ընկերներ, մենք ունենք 10 րոպե քննարկման այս փուլի համար, որից հետո 15 րոպե կլսենք մեծահասակներին, այդ հատվածը կվարի իմ ընկերամանը։ Իմ հասակակիցներ, ով կուզենա սկսել խոսել այս թեմայի շուրջ, խնդրեմ ձեռք բարձրացնել եւ սկսենք, քանի որ ժամանակը շատ քիչ է։ Կարող եք կիսվել ձեր փորձով կամ ձեր շրջապատում եղած այդպիսի դեպքերից, ինձ թվում է բոլորիս էլ հետաքրքիր կլինի լսել կամ անգամ եթե դուք լուծում ունեք այս կարևոր խնդրին, կխնդրեմ ձեռք բարձրացնել եւ խոսել։ Ինչպես տեսնում եմ, մենք այստեղ ձեռք ունենք բանդակ, խնդրեմ որ խոսեք։
We cannot hear you, unfortunately. The sound is not working.
Can you hear me now?
That's perfect.
Okay, so my name is Beston Banda. I'm from Zambia. I'm representing Defense for Children Zambia here. So I just wanted to say that I'm really excited and I'm loving this program. I think it's so educative. It's so eye-opening. I'm seeing things that I haven't really paid attention to in a long time. So I really want to appreciate the organizers. I think it's a great great activity. It's really an awareness-raising thing. But in Zambia, I also wanted to mention that last year we were doing a mental health campaign focusing on children. And one of the things that came out was that children usually don't like or don't want to associate with counseling because there seem to be some kind of stigma to counseling when it comes to mental health issues. Most young people think that mental health has to do with an illness. So there's a stigma to it already. So when you're talking about providing counseling for young people who are going through mental health issues, it's a very big problem. You might invite them for counseling, you might prepare a room or a space for them to come and share their views, but they will find it very difficult to just come there. So it's one thing that we're trying to work on to see how we can actually get to the young people, get to the children, so that they don't feel like offended or feel anything wrong, when they're being counseled. We have a helpline also, but young people will not call for that reason. And I also want to mention that like in Zambia, lately we've been having a lot of young people committing suicide because of failing exams. So this discussion is very timely because it kind of brings out that aspect. And I was actually thinking that we need to strengthen the counseling department in the schools. I'm happy with what I heard my other colleagues talk about nurses and all that. I think we need to strengthen the aspect of counseling in the schools so that when young people are in schools, somebody must be there to listen to them, somebody must be there to watch them, specifically for that. And I think that's what's going to help. Yeah, and I really love this idea of young people standing up for themselves. I think this is what we need, even in our country. We need young people to stand up for themselves and just ask government to fulfill your promises when it comes to protecting children.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Over back to you, Nana.
Մերսի շատ բանդա, շատ իրականում շատ կարևոր մեջբերում արեցիք, ինձ թվում է հենց դա գալիս է հոգեբանների պակասից եւ ընդհանրապես ընտանիքներում հենց այդ բռնության պատճառով, երբ որ սկսում են ծնողները համեմատել իրենց երեխաներին, այդ պատճառով էլ առաջանում են այդ քննություններից հետո ստացած սթրեսը, մահերը, ինքնասպանությունները եւ այլն։ Հիշեցնեմ, որ մեր թեման է առողջ մրցակցությունը։ Ես կխնդրեի, որ մեկ հանգարց չամաչի, քանի որ մենք ունենք բաց քննարկում, որպեսզի հասկանանք մեր խնդիրները եւ փորձենք լուծենք դա։ Տեսնում եմ Ռեջինա ձեռք է բարձրացել, Ռեջինա, խնդրեմ։
So yeah, in this unhealthy competition, I totally agree with the Nane in that because of unhealthy competition, like it includes so many things. Like first of all, yeah, because of the education system, because only based on the gradings that who like for the students who on the basis of their gradings and on the basis of their mark sheet, they just compare the students and their capability, and just in our home also usually guardians and our parents do it. Like even though I have my siblings, he has so good skill in extracurricular activities or something like that, in football or something else, but he has quite less grade in education than me, then my parents gonna compare that and gonna humiliate or gonna go in negative way, like targeting that with the unhealthy competition. So that person who is good in another field gonna feel himself or herself as weak one, or get some mentally issues, like they're gonna feel sad, or they're gonna lose the energy to further grow up. Like they're gonna feel like every time I get scolded and why I'm like this, or they gonna self blame themselves like that. And another thing is like nowadays because of the social media especially, people are getting influenced or what, I don't know, but self-love is decreasing, so they are just complaining themselves, or they are just forcing themselves in this unhealthy competition, like in body shaming or like that, because of social media. And yeah, people are loving themselves less, like they are caring about their bodies and all those things by seeing someone else in the social media, or like that. And so I think because of this reason we are losing some more extra talent in the case of having the competition in wrong way. That's it.
Merci շատ Ռեջինա, միանշանակ համաձայն եմ քո հետ, հիմնականում շատ խնդիրներ, ինչպես եւ ավելի շուտ նշեցի, գալիս են ընտանիքների եւ դպրոցից, ինչպես տեսնում եմ ունենք նոր ձեռքեր, Hazım, խնդրեմ խոսեք։ Դեք հիշեցնեմ, որ մեր ժամանակը սերտ են, խնդրեմ, որ մի քիչ ավելի արագ ներկայացնեք ձեր միտքը, որ հասցնեն բոլորը խոսեն։
شكرا جميعا. أنا طبعا بداية بتصور سؤال مهم لازم نطرحه، واللي هو كيف بإمكاننا إحنا إن نوصلكم. يعني أنا زيكم، أنا حدا تربيت في بيئة فيها عنف، كان جدا صعب علي أوصل للكونسلنج اللي في المدرسة، كنت أحس في مسافة كثير بعيدة عنه. شفت العنف الأسري وشفت المنافسة اللي بتتعب الواحد، واللي لساتنا موجودين فيها كناس كبار. فالسؤال المهم جدا بتصور هو إحنا، لأنه أنا مثلا واحد منكم بس أكبر منكم في شوي، فكيف بإمكاننا حاليا نتواصل معاكم؟ النقطة الثانية اللي بحب أذكرها هي إنه إحنا مش بالضرورة mentally unhealthy، لا، ممكن إنه العالم شوي يتغير. يعني بتصور لو جبنا حدا قبل 100 سنة وكان healthy وحطيناه في هذا العصر راح يصير أصعب عليه إنه يعيش. وفي حدا اسمه نعوم تشومسكي كان كثير يحكي عن social and emotional education، وزي ما إحنا بنتصور إنه إحنا حالياً عايشين في عصر صعب، خلينا نقول السوشيال اند ايموشنال education لو نحطه في المدارس زي ما إحنا بنحكي ممكن يوصلنا للديفلوبمنت إيجابية أبعد بكثير مما إحنا أصلاً قادرين نتخيل في عصرنا الحالي اللي هو مبني على المنافسة اللي كلها عمالها بتودي فينا لمحل مش بالضرورة يكون منيح. وشكرا.
Merci շատ։ Ռեյնա, ուզում եմ հարցնել, մենք կարողանանք խոստալ լուսինեի, թե չէ։ Ռեյնա, կներեք, մենք ժամանակ ունենք, որպեսզի լուսինեն էլ խոսի, թե արդեն խոսք փոխանցեմ Ամանին։
We are already over time at the moment, so I would suggest that you give the floor first to Aman to say a few things and see if there are any more experts who want to say something. And at the end, it will, of course, be great to also still hear from Lucine if there are no major contributions from the experts. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Լավ, ներողություն Լուսինե, որ չկարողացար հիմա խոսել, իսկ հիմա կցանկանամ խոսքը տրամադրել իմ ընկեր Ամանին,
So, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Aman Joshi. I'm from India, and today I'll be co-moderating this session. Now, in behalf of child participants, they have given their share of thoughts and concerns that I have taken from them personally, or you can say that from my side. It is important that we acknowledgement here, like unhealthy competition factors in the mental health of the children. According to the research, 7.4% of children aged between 3 to 17 years, approximately 4.5 million, have diagnosed behavior problem. 7.1% have diagnosed anxiety, which is approximately 4.4 million, and 3.2 have depression, means 1.9 million. And this is the main factor too. Now, from my research and analysis, let me explain you something like many of us are in problem that what is this unhealthy competition? We can't understand. So let me ease this to you. I have found that nowadays, everyone, we are doing competition between children. This unhealthy competition means that we are comparing children with each other in every field. I'm not talking about education field. I'm talking about in every field. By this competition, we are dealing with their mental health. And this is directly or indirectly medium which impacts on their mental health. These competition includes like a comparison in field of education purposes, comparison between children in field of their final conditions, like comparison in field of their looking, personality, or we can say like bullying someone with comparison to other children, like he is bulky, he is thin, or any other topics that we have. In this, I just want to tell that we are comparing someone by his work, someone by his personality, or any other reason can be its part. So I would like to open the floor for the experts to give their opinion and advice regarding this issue. If any expert is interested, then they can raise their hands as well as using the Zoom function. Anyone?
We've already had some contributions from members of the public and experts. So perhaps if there aren't specifically invitees, then
I've seen that expert Januka has written her thoughts on the chat box. If she could further explain her thoughts, we could be really appreciative. So I would like to invite expert Chandrakala Sharma.
Thank you, Aman, for your wonderful presentation and the statistics you have given regarding the unhealthy competition in education, which has impacted the mental health of the children. It's very much true. I just don't want to take much of the time. Only thing is I want to express is that it's very, very important to change the mindset of the parents. That is very important point. And another thing is that the education system of the nation, of the country, whichever country it might be, India or Nepal or Armenia or whichever, Zambia. So the education system, how the education system is been going on, and how the grading system is there, and so that need to be addressed very seriously. And we cannot, what we say that even if we look at our parents have grown up in that way. So the parents have grown up in that way. What you learn, you try to share those things to others. So you have a quote, in children learn what, children live what they learn. Have you heard about that? Dorothy Law Note has said that children learn what they live. So if you learn, if you learn to praise, if you receive appreciation, you learn to praise others. So even the parents' mindset has to be changed. That is very, very important. And the education system has to be focused on. And one thing is very important, that even each and every parent should have in mind that each and every individual, each and every child has a potential, and we need to help to come up with those potentials of the children. And that is the major thing we have to work on, to address and to create awareness among our parents. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the wonderful session.
Okay, thank you so much, expert Chandrakala Sharma. If there is anyone else, any other expert? Any other expert who want to? Okay, there is Nuziku Setibru. The floor is yours.
Good morning. My name is Nosiku Stumbeko. I am from Zambia. I am a social worker, a juvenile inspector, and also a probation officer. So I'm very glad to be part of this session, and I was looking forward to hearing the children's views as what they consider to be unhealthy competition. And I just want to say we have a task, I think, as experts to improve on awareness on positive parenting, because I think the competition begins at home with parents comparing their children against each other, and that is then sent into the classroom where everybody's competing for high grades. I think my colleague mentioned that we have had a lot of suicides because children have not performed well. And I want to emphasize that the family has a task to play, a task to do, because I grew up, if I'm allowed to, but my mother was the first person who told me I was beautiful the way I was. Therefore, I grew up with the positivity. And so even when somebody called me fat, I didn't believe them, because from home I was told I was beautiful. And so, like the previous experts mentioned, to say, then that means since you have learned to love yourself, you will love the other person. And it goes on with the children that we are raising. But more so that children should be told that they can be the best at anything that they want to be, and not to compete against each other, but to compete within themselves to be the best person that they can be. So I really wanted to hear what the children on this platform consider to be unhealthy competition, and it's a learning experience for me. And so thank you so much for this opportunity. But I think we have a lot to do as experts, but also as children. And I would just like to find out how our children from Zambia can participate in this wonderful session in the near future. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Noziku Stembu Beku. Anyone else? So I would like to invite expert Januka.
So yeah, the only thing I would like to raise in this session is that being best is now not the choice, it is the pressure. So as I mentioned in the chat, that the competition, not only in school, yeah, the competition as experts, previous experts and all the people on the panel, they already discussed that competition exists everywhere. But instead of healthy competition, there is unhealthy competition, and we are always forced to be the best. If a child is good at extracurricular activities, as mentioned by one of the member previously, so if a child is best on the extracurricular activities but average in his studies, academics, then the parent is never satisfied. Again, if the child is good at his academics but is not expert or is not good at extracurricular activities, then also the parent is not satisfied. The thing is that the parents wants his or her children to always be the best, always do the best. If this is the thing, then if everyone try to be best, then yeah, as mentioned, 97.5% is also feels like failure. So even if we bring 99.9% in examination, but not be able to top the examination because someone else bring 100%, then it really feels like a failure because parents expect us to be number one. So that is the thing. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Januka. Actually, now we are running out of time. So I'll just summarize and I'll also want to invite Nane with me.
Մեսի շատ, նախ սկզբում ուզում էի շնորհակալություն հայտնել բոլոր մեր հետ մասնակցածներին, բոլոր նախկին սեսիաները վարողներին, որտեղ իմ կարծիքով սրանք շատ կարևոր թեմաներ են, որ պետք է անպայման քննարկել եւ սկսել դրանց շուրջ ինչ-որ բաներ անել, որպեսզի վերջում երեխաների ինքնասպանությունների թիվը կանխվի ու նաև կցանկանամ վերջնական ամփոփել։ Իսկ խոսքը սկզբում պարոն Վեսթենը նշեց, որ հաճախ մտավոր առողջությունը խառնում են հոգեբանական խնդրի հետ ու նշեց, թե ինչ են իրենք անում ու ինչպես Զամբիայում թեժ գծերը օգնում են ու ցավոք ներկայացրեց ինքնասպանության դեպքեր ու այդ հարցը վերանայելու համար մենք դպրոցներում պետք է ունենանք խորհրդական ակումբներ։ Ռեջինան նշեց, որ համեմատությունը երեխաների միջև շատ տարածված է ու նույնիսկ երբ երեխաները, ովքեր լավ հատկանիշներ ունեն, օրինակ լավ ֆուտբոլ խաղալու, համեմատվում են այլ ուղղություններով ու իրենց թույլ են անվանում ու ասում են իրենց մտավոր առողջության վրա։ Սրանք շատ կարևոր կետեր էին, քանի որ միանշանակ համաձայն եմ նրանց հետ։ Հաճախ այդ ընտանիքներում, դպրոցներում եւ այլ վայրերում երեխաներին միշտ այնպես են ասում, որ նրանք պետք է միշտ ամենալավը լինեն եւ այդ պատճառով շատ մեծ կորուստներ են ունենում։ Ընդամենը հորդորում եմ բոլորին, որ սիրեք ձեզ ինչպես որ կաք, միշտ ձեզ ամենագեղեցիկ ընդունեք եւ երբեք ուրիշ ինչ չլսեք, որովհետեւ դուք ամենալավն եք, պետք է լինեք ամենալավը ձեր համար ու եթե անգամ ձեր մոտ ինչ-որ մի բան չի ստացվում, միշտ մի հանձնվեք եւ առաջ շարժվեք։ Մերսի ձեզ շատ։
So, okay, thank you so much, Nani. So, I'll tell you some points. Like, we have to change the mindset of parents, like change the mentality and improve awareness regarding the mentality, like removing this comparison with someone in any field. So, we are at the end of this session. I would like to thank the experts for accepting our invite and audience for their patience. And I hope this session was insightful for everyone as it was for me as a moderator. I hope we all take my learnings from today's session. We will be discussing the action points on this topic on the second day with potential views on it. With this come to an end of this session, I would now like to invite Reina to take this session forward to go with the flow. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much to both you, Aman and Nane, for again a hugely inspiring session that also clarifies a lot of what the questions that I received from adults before, and it's like what is meant with unhealthy competition. So I think you very well addressed that and made us aware of something that we're not talking about enough. So I think we've earned the time to take a quick break, and of about 10 minutes. So if we can be back at 5, like I'm in the UK, so 10, which would please just calculate it, 10 minutes from wherever you are in the world, and we'll back. We'll put a little slide in front, and as soon as you see people back and the slide disappear, the session will be starting again, and you will hear my booming voice. See you all in 10 minutes, and thank you very much for the session so far. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all back from your health break. And I want to immediately give the floor over to the moderators of our next sessions, which is intended really to summarize some of the core points that were made in the last 3 sessions. Firstly, they will present their own perspective on this, and then invite everyone present here to add and discuss what they thought of the 3 sessions and the key points from their perspective. So please, can I hand over to our child representative Regina from Nepal, as well as Manu Krishan from the Global Campus. Thank you.
So, am I audible?
Perfectly.
So, hello everyone, namaste again. And first of all, I'd like to welcome all of you in our highlight session. So, it's me, moderator for this session. And let me quickly introduce myself. It's me, Regina Khatimagar. I'm from Nepal, and I'm a girl and child rights activist. It's been so long that I have been working in this field, and I think it might be around 4 years that I have been work as a peer educator for the Girls Empowerment Project. And similarly, in the international forums is CRIA, that is Child Rights in Action, and where we work, where we children and adults work together for creating a beautiful world beyond the gender, and emphasize on the child rights and child participation. And while on the basis of the same thing, I'm so glad to be part of it here, and I'm so honored to participate with all of you here. And I'd like to introduce my amazing and super supportive co-moderator, Mr. Manu Krishan. It's over to you.
Thank you so much for that, Regina. It's really, really kind of you. I'm Manu Krishan. I'm very happy also to be here. I work very closely with the Child Rights Department, Reina, and specifically on the global study on children deprived of liberty with my colleague, Elisa Klein. We work from Vienna, and I'm very happy to be here as well. Just to give you a bit of an overview what the process is. So what we have been doing right now, Regina and myself, have been absorbing all of the kind of information that you have provided throughout this the first 3 sessions, the 3 subsections. And of course, in this breakout, health break that we just had, we just broke out. We had a breakout room where we had all of the different individual persons who were supporting the moderators come together and to really absorb what were the main points that have come out from these discussions. On the one hand, the process would be that we have this discussion with experts. However, the second aspect is to kind of take out highlights from these talks and then start thinking and formulating recommendations. These recommendations can then support you tomorrow when you are actually breaking out into your rooms to actually come up with specific recommendations that, specific action points based on the recommendations, where you can go more into detail of how to implement it. So you as a group of children around the world leading this process, also with the broader group of 111 children, also hoping that that goes beyond. How do you then, on the one hand, how do you implement these action points? Where, when, who, and of course, what type of activities that you do. So this is kind of an overview of what you do, and I will pass on now to Regina to give an overview and the highlights of the first 2 points, the 2 sessions that we had today. Thank you.
Okay, well, as we have discussed, as we know that we have the main theme, our main topic of mental health, and within that we have 3 different subtopics. So as I'm gonna give some highlight points that I have noted on my notebook that we arise on that discussion, and I like to request all the participants to give the reaction, like how you feel on this session, or what's your reaction that till now that you are participating here. So so as you have so much stigma and stereotype on the mental health, even to discuss it, so within that lack of mechanism, first topic is lack of mechanism and education system, or that. And first is COVID and education mechanism. Because of the COVID, there comes lots of hindrance or lots of difficulties even in the education system, and there we seem lack and need of counselor, which is arise and which is mostly emphasized during the session, and needs to include the mental health issue on the curriculum is the major and must one that we need to do as much as first we can do it through the government level. So, and another is mostly in every session we know that, and we self-arise the point and the topic of mass awareness or awareness arising programs need to be done, or we need to be self-aware, and we need to start it from our own home. So, and another our experts were highlighting the about the provision of health nurse in the schools and all those things. And after that, in second point, like in second discussion on the topic of violence against the children, we have like discuss about the intergeneration violence, that how if parents become a kind of violence, or if parents get influenced or get affected because of violence, and how it affect the another generation, or how it affect the children. So we discuss about the intergenerational violence and domestic, obviously domestic violence, violence on the school, and obviously and violence increase because of this COVID period, especially when we are locked within our homes. So and another is like unequal development and unequal distribution of the resources, or all these things, and there become huge gap between the rural and urban area, even on the accessibility or access of the resources to them. So this also point we discussed. And another thing is like we noticed that on I think that's on Lebanon or Armenia. I'm quite confused, but there we see that lack of legal frameworks, like on the topic of child abuse or violence on the home, on their own home. So there we seem in some places it seems that there is needs to be have some legal frameworks need to be done, or as our expert Janugati had said that in our country we genuinely have the plans and policies of government, but there somewhere we ourselves are lagging behind, and like being the responsible one to control this from our one level. So while summarizing this two discussion, or while highlighting the points, I personally and genuinely believe that changes needs to be initiated from ourselves first. Then only we can point others to initiate to make changes, or we can suggest others. So let's initiate the changes from ourselves, from our home, then to the society and nation. Then we can make our world to ensure our mental health, and to ensure the healthiness, whether that's physically or mentally, to every people in this world. So now for another topic, I would like to pass over to you, Manu.
Thank you so much for that overview and for touching upon, it's a very difficult task. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of expertise, and really being able to really highlight the main points is really, really kind of impressive. Thank you so much, Dejina. For the third session on unhealthy competition, I think a few things came up, and of course it's very fresh in our minds, so don't need to dwell too much into it, and we have so much not so much time left. But one of the concerns, of course, was the increased competition within different countries in the world, creating higher suicide rates. A highly kind of competition was in countries like in India is a perfect example. Also, this I can say that the whole unhealthy competition was a point very much pushed by our colleagues in India. You know, Aman Niyati, which did say that unhealthy competition was something that they really wanted to push in regards to mental health. So one thing, of course, is to discuss and bring people forward in discussing the kind of educational system, which bases itself on a very unhealthy competitive framework. and trying to make it as individualized as possible, looking at a system where you do consider each child being unique and individual in its own right. So this was something that really came up, but as an overarching aspect of all of these thematics, I think I would say we all agree that one most important activity to start off is to clearly create advocacy and awareness raising among among children, but also among adults, among communities, but also going beyond to states, as Regina said. So that's, for in a nutshell, what we have kind of taken and absorbed. Of course, we will also formulate and try to formulate some specific recommendations that you then can use tomorrow for your action planning. But we will present that in the morning of tomorrow. And for now, thank you very much.
I think Manfred has his hand up.
Yes, thank you very much. I know that you closed already, but I just wanted to say, first of all, I'm very happy that I could still, although we are in Brussels, follow this whole first session of your conference. And I'm deeply impressed by not only that you selected mental health as the main problem, but also the different sub-items, and in particular, the unhealthy competition and mental health. And that has to do with our also global economic situation, that because of neoliberal policies, everything is now following this kind of competition, and also in the daily life, that the way how children are pushed by their teachers, by their parents, etc., into a constant competition, and that has a very, very heavy toll on the mental health, including suicide rates, even then in a COVID-19 pandemic situation, I think is not surprising. So I think also in your action plan, I think about in the more bigger picture, what needs to be changed in order to reduce the stress on children and adults as well. Thank you very much for this first session, and I look forward to the rest of this very, very inspiring conference. Thank you.
Pass it on to Reina.
If there's nobody else who wants to add to the summary, you think of something that we've missed out or think is very important, then I can certainly take over. And Regina?
Yeah, I would like to say one thing that I really loved is like here on this conference also in upcoming days also, the theme that we set up, that working adults and children together should be amazing. Like usually we had the conception like children gonna guide the adults gonna guide the children, they're gonna supervise them, they're gonna show the paths to the children, and children gonna walk on that path that our adults saw. Like so we are breaking that stereo, and we are making a new theme that children's gonna express their point of view, gonna participate together, gonna walk together with the adults, and adults gonna cooperate with them and co-work with them, not only like guiding them but also listening to their point of view and working together with them. So that's the amazing thing. And yeah, I feel so honored and blessed to be here. Thank you to have me here.
I think, Regina, I have to say that the honor is all ours to have you and all of the other children involved in this. It's a dream come true to engage in this way. for me personally, and it's been a wonderful experience. I do want to ask our technical team just to play us 2 audio recordings of Nepali children who also wanted to share their experiences and of the challenges they face. It's only short. One audio recording is 1 minute and the other is 2 minutes. And I do not want us to miss their perspectives. I'm sorry, we do not have like translation of this for the translators. We didn't have the opportunity to send that through. I hope you'll be able to translate on the fly. Please, Monica.
काउन्सिलिङ बस्नुभन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ म अलि धेरै डिप्रेस थिएँ अनि राति त्यो डिप्रेसनले गर्दा निन्द्राहरू पनि नलाग्ने अनि आफूमा फोकस गर्न नसक्ने अनि पढाइ पनि राम्ररी मैले पढ्न नै सक्दिनँ थिएँ राम्ररी काउन्सिलिङ पछि चाहिँ मैले अहिले आफूमा अलिकति फोकस गर्न पाएँ अनि डिप्रेसनबाट कसरी बाहिर जाने थाहा पाएँ अनि आफूमा मात्र नभएर पढाइहरूमा नि फोकस गर्न थाहा पाएँ अनि आफ्नो प्रब्लमहरू थाहा पाएँ अनि प्रब्लमहरूलाई कोप कसरी गर्ने थाहा पाएँ अनि सेल्फ अवेर हुन थालेँ अनि सेल्फ कन्फिडेन्ट बढ्यो आफूमा अनि आफूलाई जस्तो छु त्यस्तोमै माया गर्न थालेँ मेन्टल हेल्थ आफ्नो साथीहरूको लागि मेन्टल हेल्थ इम्प्रुभ गर्नको लागि चाहिँ के सल्लाह दिन्छु भने राम्रो काउन्सिलरबाट जाने अनि आफ्नो सेल्फ कन्फिडेन्टहरू बढाउने भन्दा नि सुरुमा काउन्सिलर राम्रो ठाउँमा जाने अनि राम्रो काउन्सिलिङ पाएर आफूलाई जस्तो छ त्यसरी एक्सेप्ट गर्ने
नमस्ते मेरो नाम शान्तिमाया तामाङ हो र म 19 वर्षकी भएँ विगत पहिलो लकडाउनमा चाहिँ मलाई एकदमै गाह्रो भएको थियो घरबेटीले कोठा भाडा नतिरेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि निस्केर जाऊ भनेर मानसिक तनाव पनि दिइरहेको थियो र विश्वास नेपालमा म अहिले चिन्जान गरिसकेपछि विश्वास नेपालले चाहिँ मलाई लकडाउनमा राहतहरू उपलब्ध गराइदिनु भयो र पहिलो लकडाउनमै मलाई चाहिँ कोभिड भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि औषधि उपचार र कपडाहरू पनि दिनुभएको थियो त्यति बेला विश्वास नेपालले धेरै सहयोग गर्नुभएको थियो कोभिड भए पश्चात चाहिँ मेरो परिवारले मलाई पहिले जस्तो नजरले नहेर्ने एकदमै घृणित तरिकाले हेर्ने भएको कारणले गर्दा म एकदम मानसिक तनावमा अनि विभिन्न नराम्रो सोचहरू आउन थालिरहेको थियो र विश्वास नेपालमा कोभिडको आइसोलेसन सकेपछि विश्वास नेपालमा रेगुलर आउन थालेर चाहिँ मैले काउन्सिलिङ सेसनहरू लिएँ र यहाँबाट मलाई एकदमै धेरै राहतहरू प्राप्त भयो र मैले सुसाइड एक्टहरू पनि धेरै गर्न खोजेको थिएँ र अहिले चाहिँ म त्यो गर्दिनँ किनभने मैले बुझिसकेको छु कि मैले आफैलाई माया गर्नुपर्छ भनेर मलाई विश्वास नेपालको काउन्सिलिङ सेसनले एकदमै धेरै सहायता गरेको छ मैले चाहिँ यस संस्थामा आबद्ध भइसकेपछि चाहिँ आत्मविश्वासमा पनि मैले आत्मविश्वास पनि बढेको छ र मैले यहाँबाट व्यवसाय सहयोग पनि पाएको छु र मैले यसमा व्यावसायिक सहयोग पाएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि अब म के गर्न सक्छु भन्ने थाहा छ र मैले शारीरिक मात्र होइन कि मलाई मानसिक तनाव पनि हुन्छ र यसमा हामीलाई काउन्सिलिङ सेसन चाहिन्छ भन्ने बुझेको छु र मैले अरू साथीहरूलाई पनि यसबारे बताएको छु र हामीलाई काउन्सिलिङ सेसनहरू चाहिन्छ हामीलाई तनाव भएको बेलामा कतै पुग्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा मैले थाहा पाएको छु र म कन्टिन्यू काउन्सिलिङहरू लिइरहेको छु र आफ्नो तनावहरू र आफ्नो कसैलाई भन्न नसक्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ म यहाँ यस संस्थामा आएर विश्वासिलो म्याम हुनुहुन्छ उहाँलाई भन्छु कतिपय साथीहरूले चाहिँ यो काउन्सिलिङ लिएर पनि ठिक हुन्छ र के कुरा मात्र गरेर कति कुरा हुन्छ र भनेर भन्ने गर्छन् तर पनि मैले उनीहरूलाई सम्झाइरहेको हुन्छु मेरो जीवनका परिवर्तनहरू सुनाइरहेको हुन्छु र यसै गरेर मैले चाहिँ एउटा साथीलाई पनि लिएर आएको छु उसको पनि जीवनमा मेरो जस्तै घटनाहरू घटेका थिए अहिले ऊ रेगुलर आउँछ र उसको काउन्सिलिङ सेसनमा बसेर एकदमै ठुलो परिवर्तनहरू आएको बताउँछिन्
Excellent. I hope that you could all hear the translation there. As you could hear that, again, both of the children here very much emphasize the need for counselling and making a concerted effort not to only offer that within society and around the home, but very much also as part of the kind of the educational system. As a final point before we close this session, I would like to hand over to my colleague Victor Karunan, who has been instrumental in helping us set this up. And obviously we'll also have a session after later on today, and all of you are naturally invited to that as well, where we will repeat this in a slightly different form. But Victor, your final words, please.
Thank you very much, Reina. And once again, I just want to start by saying, as we're going through the session today, with the moderators, the children, the experts, and everyone contributing your ideas on the 3 topics, 3 words kept going on in my mind. And that might help us take it into our discussion tomorrow. The first word is children are telling us we need to create more awareness. Among ourselves as children, we need to be more aware. Our parents need to be more aware. Our teachers, our caregivers, government, everybody needs to be more aware. We know very little about mental health. Second, stigma. That children are suffering from stigma and social isolation. And this is a difficult one to deal with because so sensitive. And the third is children are telling us we need support. We need understanding. We need counselors, we need specialists. So can you listen to us? Can you understand what we're going through in terms of our mental health? So those are 3 words that kept going on in my mind over and over again. Now, there are many takeaways from today. And I wrote down 7 of them. And Regina and Manu have already covered most of it. But let me say this. It's interesting to note that mental health is one of the most neglected rights in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. It's mentioned only in 2 places, Article 17, which talks about mental health in relation to mass media, and Article 25, which talks about mental health in relation to children's placement. That's it. So it is a neglected area of child rights itself. Takeaway 2, that health is complex. Mental health, we know, is very complex. We need to better understand what it means for children of different age groups, background, urban and rural context. Takeaway 6, that there's a critical lack of expertise of specialists in mental health. At the community level, in the school, to assist families, and especially with children and young people. And lastly, a point that we'll have to pick up tomorrow is how can we advocate for more government policy, investment, and capacity in mental health. So these, to me, are the key takeaways from today. So rich discussion and many things to think about as we prepare ourselves for tomorrow. Now, what are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow, firstly, we move from discussion to action. We will do that in country regional groups where children will discuss what needs to be done, by whom, when, and where. Based on those recommendations, we will develop a children's global action plan on mental health in each of the 3 topics that we've discussed today. So to prepare ourselves for tomorrow, let's go back and review the key points we discussed today and the excellent inputs and perspectives we got for children and the experts. Let us revisit the action points that we discussed in the children's consultation in 11 countries or so. Let's see whether we can prioritize. We can't do everything, but some things can be done, which are the most important, the most urgent that children are asking us to do, and bring those ideas for tomorrow. So that's where we are and where we need to be tomorrow. So with that, I would like to thank everyone, all the moderators in particular, the children who contributed, the adults who gave their perspective, the experts who shared their views. We have a good starting point to move it into action tomorrow. So thank you very much again. And it's a privilege for me to be working as a consultant to the Global Campus to assist with the children's participation. Thank you, and over to Reina.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Victor, for that. I'm going to be brief in my thanks. It's been an inspirational session, and I'm always in awe with the thoughts and contributions the children bring to the table. And I am sure in the next session, which starts Nepali time at 17:45, in the chat there, I paste the various time slots there, where the children from our group from Nepal and Latin America region, particularly Ecuador, Chile, and Brazil will be joining us with a simultaneous translation. If you wish to join us, there's always naturally also English translation there. So please feel free to continue, where we will also hear the views from the children in those regions on the same topics and discussions that we had today. Thank you very much, and we will see you very soon in the next session today. Brilliant.